Hey, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. I guess you can call it a podcast. You guys will not believe what we're here to talk about, even though I'm sure by now you've seen the title and maybe the thumbnail or what have you. But yeah, I've been wanting to talk about this forever. You know why? Because it will forever go down in history as the best episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Um, First of all, I want to give a shout out to Ultimate Brody, who commented and said that my voice is really soothing and I should be doing audiobooks. And y'all, it went straight to my head because now I'm going to be talking to you guys like this. Hey, my beautiful people. Welcome back to the channel. But no, I appreciate it because I never listen to myself back because I don't like the way that I sound. Also, shout out to Phil, who made me aware because I listened to myself back a little bit. And yeah, I caught the fact that I was calling Ross Ralph the whole time in the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and I was saying it for real too. I'm just like, yeah, and Ralph needs to sit his bitch ass. Like I was really calling him Ralph. That's because both of them irrelevant. Yeah, wasn't what. All right, you guys, I really want to talk about this pajama pillow talk or whatever, Nene's pillow talk. We got to talk about it because I watched it not too long ago and I noticed some things. I really noticed some things that I hadn't noticed before. All right, let's talk about it. All right, you guys. So all the episodes are on Hulu. Just an FYI, in case you guys didn't know, if you want to go back and watch it, and then come back and watch me, or vice versa. Y'all probably remember it. Who don't remember it? Like honestly, but it's actually called. It's season 6, episode 13, and it was called Pillow Talk or Pillow Fight, which I just remembered as Pillow Talk, and every time we reference it, it's just Pillow Talk. But let's just give a little bit of backstory before we get to the hotel, basically. All right, now I'm only gonna go over the things that are gonna come into play later. So this is the season with Christopher Williams and his common law wife, and Kenya was the one who made us aware that listen, she knows some things, and she knows that you guys are not married in real life. You are his common law wife, so you should be quiet. It's also the season where the common law wife was telling Candy that someone she knows dated him or whatever, and that he is just an opportunist. This is where the whole opportunist thing came in. And Cynthia was the one, oh no, Candy at the lunch said, well, that's just like everybody talking about Peter, and I know some things about Peter's past, but he's not bringing that into his new relationship, so it doesn't matter, like it's not a big deal. And then Cynthia runs back to tell Peter that Candy said she knows some things about his past, period, hard stop. Like she doesn't say the rest of everything that Candy said. So now of course Peter is like, fuck is she talking about that she knows in my past? That girl don't know my past. And I'm like, Cynthia is just stirring shit up because you didn't even tell him the full everything that the girl said. And then she's like, well, I don't want you and Candy into it. And he's like, well, I'm gonna have to ask her about it. And I'm like, Cynthia is so full of shit because she even told Peter that she was like, you are my future and I don't care about your past, and if you got something to say about Peter, put it on the table. And he's like, you said that? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, she looked like she lying. Y'all, he gave a chuckle and looked at her like, your lying ass did not say that. And I'm like, her lying ass did not say that for sure. Well, I can't say for sure because I don't remember, but I don't think she did. All right, now let's get to the pillow talk. All right, so we're at the hotel suite, and Nene is getting the food ready and everything. Well, she didn't cook or anything, but she's just making sure everything is presentable. Cynthia is the first one in, and I guess this is when they were on good terms because they give each other hugs and, oh, you look cute, this and that or whatever. And Cynthia is just like, so what's going on? And in the confessional, Nene tells the point of this because I think even years later, none of us really knew the point of this. And so I didn't remember what the point was. And it still makes no sense. She just said that she can spot a fake bitch anywhere, and she just really want these women to sit down and talk to each other. And I'm gonna tell you, the first thing that comes to mind when everybody starts coming in is the fact that it's inappropriate. This is inappropriate as shit. The stuff that these women are wearing, it's it's pajamas and everything, but you got husbands here, and yeah, it's just an inappropriate situation. All right, so Nene ends up telling Cynthia that she invited everybody. I mean, Portia's coming, Kenya's coming, Christopher and Natalie, I guess that's her name. Natalie's coming. And Cynthia's like, hold on. You know what happened at the wine tasting and with Kenya and Natalie. And, she's never been around Christopher for him to talk about it or whatever. So are you sure you want to do that? Of course, this is exactly what Nene wants to do. And she was just like, girl, I don't know. It's all right, though. I just want to know, is the setup cute to you? And Cynthia, of course, was like, oh my God, yes. Because that was exactly when she was right up Nene's ass. I mean, right up in there. But yeah, here we go. Y'all, I forgot how much I used to give my life from Phaedra. She was so phony, it was funny. This fool says when Monique and the guy Chuck walks in or whatever, she's in the confessional saying, "Oh my goodness, I have no." wait, I gotta get it right. She said, "Oh Lord, have mercy, I have no interest in sharing any pillow talk with those two." Wait, I gotta do it again. Oh Lord, have mercy, I have no interest in sharing pillow talk with those two. And she always talks in her confessional like she's in a play. And when I tell you, I would give my life every time because I would be like, this fool is serious. She's dead ass serious though. Yeah, and now that everybody is seated, Nene comes prancing out in this little see-through number. Like, y'all remember what she had on? Lacy, see-through, and she's just prancing to the point where Greg even looked like, what the fuck? Like, what she got on? And she's coming out with these models. A male model, his body wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. Like, I like my men a little bit bigger. I'm sorry. And the lady model, okay, but I mean, it was inappropriate. That's what I'm saying. The lady model had all her cheeks was out and everything. And I'm like, you have invited women and their husbands here. Why are we doing this? Like, why do you have half naked people here? It just made no sense. But again, and what we talked about before a long time ago, years ago, y'all remember, it seemed like Nene was hyped up on something. And it really did. Like the way, oh, excuse me, the way she was prancing back and forth. And like she really seemed like she was on something. Yep, and there it is. Nene is talking about how Candy gave her a sex number of 2 before, and she is up in her game. She's walking around with balls inside her or whatever, and Candy is looking like, oh my God. And she's in the confessional saying, I don't know what's going on with Nene. Like, she is prancing around this place, and she's acting real geeked up. Like, I don't know what's going on with her. And she's like, Apollo, quit looking at my legs. Like, can y'all remember how she was going back and forth and moving that little nightie and everything? And they just laughing at her. And then finally, Phaedra's like, okay, so Nene, what is this? And I'm like, good question. So Nene says that it's just it's a party for them to play games and get to know each other. It's not about bashing, it's about talking. And they're about to play a game called How Well Do You Know Your Mate? And as she's going back and forth, she's like, but we're waiting on our really, really, really late guest. And Portia's like, who? Who's late? And she's like, Kenya, do you see her? Do you see her here? And she's like, you know what? Let's get started because I'm getting really irritated. Yeah, she was definitely on something, y'all. All right, this starts out as a stupid game already because how do you play it? So Portia pulls first, and her question is, do you prefer your lover to be aggressive or passive in the a bedroom? And Cynthia raises her hand, and she goes, I knew Cynthia was going to raise her hand first, and of course Cynthia says aggressive, and Portia's like, duh, he's Jamaican. So next is Cynthia's turn. Like it has no rhyme or reason, you guys. Like, who are these questions aimed at? Like, when is it your turn? Like, it just make no sense. Nene, it made no sense. All right, so next Cynthia reads the question, and it says, would you mind or do you mind being around somebody or in the same room with somebody that you know slept with your mate? And Portia's like, hell no. And it's so funny because Monique looks dead at Candy. And then Candy in the confessional is like, Nene is putting me in a real funky position and I don't like it. So just out loud at the party, she says, I don't care. And then, Cynthia asks Peter, and Peter's like, I hang out with Leon all the time, and y'all did it for sure because y'all got a kid. So Nene was already being shady. So shady, y'all. What happened at this party is exactly what Nene wanted and knew was going to happen at this party. Yeah, so the next question is, and this is after Nene says once again, Cynthia asks, where's Kenya? It's getting real late. And Nene is like, I'm getting really, really, really pissed off. So let's go on with the question. So Peter asked the question, would you be okay if your lover was bisexual? And then Nene is going to say, Portia, this is one that you can probably answer. And Portia's like, bitch, please, don't call me out. Don't even try it. And Portia is so stupid. She's like, I don't want my man to be bisexual, heterosexual. I want him to be Portia sex. And as she's saying that, her sister is trying to jump in there to let her know, okay, heterosexual is okay. Y'all, they so stupid. All right, Kenya finally comes to the door. Knock, knock, knock. Nene is super pissed off. She goes to the door and she's like, oh, hey. And she closes it. She didn't close it all the way, but she closes it like in her face. Kenya comes in and she's like, bitch, you're late. And she's like, I had to go to the airport, Brandon, to pick up Brandon. His flight was delayed. What does that have to do with me? And Kenya's, oh, excuse me. Kenya's like, oh, you look cute. And she's like, you don't. And anyway, sit down. Y'all, when I tell you, Nene need her ass kicked on this one. If anybody was going to fight, it should have been Kenya and Nene. I'm not even lying. So Nene is all in her face, talking about she's sitting on the floor. Kenya's sitting on the floor. Nene's all in her face, like, you didn't text me, you didn't say anything, and normally I text you. Don't I text you? And Kenya's like, you're right, you didn't text me. I didn't text you. I apologize for not texting you. And she's like, you can leave, you can get out. And then she's like, and if anybody else don't like it, they can get out, all while just walking back and forth, looking crazy. And then, of course, we have Phaedra, because she doesn't like Kenya, saying, Nene is exactly right. I'm like, what is wrong with this girl? All right, so the next question, you guys, is going to move very fast because there's a lot going on in this party. The next question that Nene asked was, would you be comfortable if your significant other looked at somebody else? Portia says, no, I don't even want my man going to the strip club. And Peter's like, don't even say that because a lot of us in here go to strip clubs. He's like, I do, Apollo do. Todd does because I see him there. And when he said it, Candy didn't look happy, but then she starts smiling afterwards when Peter says, listen, I don't pay for myself a lap dance. I pay for my boy to get a lap dance. And then Candy's looking like, Peter, what? And he's like, I seen you there before, Candy. And she's like, that's what I'm saying. Don't put me in this position because I saw her on your lap. And he's like, on my lap? And she's like, yeah. He's like, what? And she's like, don't put me in this position. All right, so in the confessional, Candy says, listen, I was not going to say a thing about what happens because I know that men don't want to talk about everything that they do, when the women aren't around. She said, but it's just kind of, uncomfortable listening to him talk about it and knowing that he's lying. And Peter's just like, it's not like I, was trying to get with her or whatever. And Candy's like, I never said you was trying to take her home or anything. So then we get a confessional with Cynthia saying, let's be clear. I know that Peter goes to the strip clubs and it's fine with me. I don't think he's going there for the wings, Candy. And I'm like, this bitch don't even like the fact that somebody is low-key trying to tell you what's going on with your husband. And like, she's just not taking it in. Cynthia's an idiot, you guys. Like, I've always thought that Cynthia is blonde. Like, she acts so, she's a dingbat. And I understand that you're out in the streets. You want to, save face or whatever. But she was doing a lot on this episode. And actually this season. All right, so then we have Nene saying, listen, all type of shit going in the strip clubs. I used to be a stripper. People get blowjobs in strip clubs. People do it. Like, anything that you down for, there's a woman there that'll do it. And everybody's like, yeah, yeah. And then Apollo's like, listen, I used to go to strip clubs a whole heck of a lot. And he was like, and then when people, he said once he got out of prison, and he's like, and then when people started judging me on it or whatever, now I go there just to really be social. And he's like, I don't give a shit. Like, we good with it. I come home and I put my receipts on the table. I spent like 5,000, 6,000, and then everybody's like, "What?" And Phaedra's like, "That's where I have an issue. 5,000." And Nene and Cynthia is both like, "Nah, never spending that amount of money." So he stands up and he's like, "It's my money. It's my money." And by this time, y'all, we have found out that Apollo was stealing from old people. So this just did not look good. It did not go over well at all with us back then, because now we know it was not your money. Like, literally, it was not your money. Fuck are you talking about, Apollo? Yeah, it was just bad timing. I swear to God, this is giving me Erica Girardi all over again. The fact that he is standing up saying how it's his money, he could spend 8,000 if he want to. It's not her money, and Phaedra's just sitting there with this smile on her face or whatever. And y'all, we gonna get to Phaedra in a little bit, and the fact that I don't know. Like, I can't even say allegedly because nobody alleged, but going back and watching again, you guys, she seemed like an abused woman. And I'm not saying that he put his hands on her or whatever. I don't know. Or maybe it was just verbal abuse and him screaming at her and everything. I don't know. But do y'all remember the episode when they were out of town and she had to go to the restroom? She was mad that he was sitting in the cigar lounge talking to Kenya, and they were making up or whatever, and she ended up leaving and going sitting by the door, and he's just like, well, you're gonna be sitting here and I ain't letting you in and I ain't got the key, and like, and she was just like, okay, Apollo, okay. Like, it just seemed so disturbing that he was just like screaming at her and she was not giving him any energy. And then if you look back at the past seasons, anytime he was like going off on her, few times in the kitchen or whatever when they showed them, he's like going off on her and she would just be like, okay, okay, whatever, it's fine, whatever, whatever. Like, she was just down talking. And yeah, and we definitely can't forget when he was about to go to prison and he's coming up close to her and she's like moving, looking very terrified, actually, moving away, like, go away from me with that. And I don't know, like, I hope she wasn't physically or anything, but even verbally is just too much. But please go back and look. And I swear to you, this is something that I found that was just very disturbing to me. And it's alleged, I'm alleging, I have no idea, but she really came off like some sort of abused woman. So poor Phaedra. Okay, so back to the party. So we have Christopher Williams saying that he's from the hood and he just, always keep his money and he has a problem paying for it. So he's not a strip club kind of guy. His common law wife jumps in and she's like, we have a song together, it's called Dance for Me, so I take care of that. And then we have Kenya in the confessional saying, does she tuck before she dance because she look like a man? All right, so Kenya chimes in and she says, listen, I feel like there's just an issue if he goes all the time. So she's just trying to join the party and get into it or whatever. Nene is annoyed automatically and jumps up and says, okay, I have another question, because when we were at the winery, Kenya had a lot to say about Christopher Williams and his, what she called common law, Natalie. And Christopher Williams then gets up and walks across the room closer to where Kenya is, you guys. And Nene even asked him, are you leaving? He's like, no, I'm just going over here. And you would think that he was going to get a drink or something. But if you look back, no, he does not get a drink or anything. He got like a card in his hand and he's just standing there. And even Portia comes and she tries to escort him back to his seat. And she's like, oh, you have to be seated, sir. And he's like, no. And then Natalie, his girlfriend, we're just going to call her girlfriend. She says, he's going to stay standing for this. They came with the mess already. Like, they were ready for the mess. And she says that apparently Kenya said that Christopher Williams told her that they're common law. I guess when they were on something together in California like years ago or whatever, Kenya was like, he didn't claim you as a real wife. He claimed you as common law. So Christopher Williams is standing very close to where Kenya is. He's walked all the way across the room. Y'all, ugh. So Christopher says, yeah, so I just want to address you. So he's like walking in front of Kenya and everything. I don't know what kind of medication you own, but, and she's like, I'm on whatever kind of medication you own, Chris. And she's in the confessional, like, listen, I ain't no punk ass bitch. So whatever you talking, we can go for it. And so as they're talking, his girlfriend is in the background saying, don't backpedal now. Don't backpedal now. So Kenya jumps up and she's walking that way and she's like, I'm not backpedaling. This is front pedaling. And was she wrong for getting up? Absolutely not. He got up first. Y'all, when this whole thing happened, it was a big thing about who was wrong. Should she have stood up? She was going towards the girlfriend and he just touched her to stop her. No, he should never have put his hand on her. So I'm jumping ahead. So she walks towards the girl and then Christopher touches Kenya. He grabs her arm thinking that she's going to do something to the girl. When are you crazy? Like, don't touch me, honestly, especially if you getting up walking halfway across the room to confront me. Don't touch me. Y'all, let me tell you, I don't know what her friend Brandon is, but that's somebody that should have been in her life for freaking ever. Just from this episode alone, he had her back. When I tell you she was walking across that room and he was right behind her, literally. So when Christopher grabbed her and was like, hold on. Her friend Brandon was like, hey, and she's like, she pulled her arm and she's like, don't touch me, Christopher. And her friend Brandon was like, don't touch her. Don't touch her. And then Christopher's like, don't touch me. And then Peter gets up and he's trying to grab Brandon. And that's when they start fighting because Peter, what are you doing? Like, I understand what he... Listen, okay, let's watch some more. Okay, yeah. So looking at it again, Peter gets up and he's trying to help the situation, but he ends up pushing Brandon back a little bit. Then he pushes him. And my guess is because Brandon is truly a man and he just didn't fly back when you put your hand up there and whatever. So Peter pushed him. And then of course, Brandon pushed him back. Don't you ever push me. And that's how they got into it. Y'all, but then they were fine. Like Peter ended up grabbing him kind of by his neck and just pushing him back like, listen, I'm trying to stop everything. Brandon was still trying to talk to Christopher. And then out of nowhere, I mean, absolutely nowhere, Apollo jumps up and starts pushing Brandon and pushes him down on a little bean bag. And then Peter, I don't know if Peter was trying to stop it or what, but Kenya's trying to grab Apollo. Apollo just starts wailing on this guy, like just really hitting him. And Peter looks like he was grabbing him by his neck or whatever. Like, I don't think he was really trying to stop him. I don't know. It looked crazy that it kind of looked like they were jumping him or Peter was kind of holding him down while Apollo attacked him. And Kenya's the only one trying to get him off. Y'all, Greg is trying to get Christopher off and Christopher is grabbing onto plants and everything. Which I never noticed, but I'm watching it now and I've paused it exactly where Chris is grabbing onto plants. Like he got a big ass plant in his hand while they trying to get him out the room. Okay, so as all hell is breaking loose. So yeah, I guess Peter wasn't holding him down or whatever. Maybe he was trying to cover him up because Apollo was really trying to get at him. And Brandon's kicking. Kenya's trying to grab Apollo. Phaedra's trying to grab Apollo. Apollo literally pushes both of them. Like he pushed, get off me. Push Phaedra back or whatever. And that's why I'm just like, she can't even calm him down. Like he's so out of control that your wife can't even calm you down. That's how I knew they weren't supposed to be together, y'all. I just feel like your person is the one person who would be able to calm you down. Now, if it's in a situation like this where they full on fighting, maybe not. But your person should definitely not be pushing you across the freaking room trying to get at somebody and just acting ridiculous. So then Brandon gets up and Peter's still trying to stop him or whatever. He's going towards Apollo. By this time, security has tried to move Phaedra and Kenya. Not even tried. They literally moved Kenya and Phaedra out the way. And Brandon's trying to get at Apollo. And I'm like, Brandon, you probably don't want to. I mean, he's a big man too. So I'm not going to, I ain't going to front like he probably couldn't take Apollo. But I don't know that he could really take Apollo, but he wasn't backing down at all. Like he was trying to go at him. So everybody's trying to hold him back as well. And Nene is just standing there with her hands on her head. No, bitch, this is what you wanted, right? This is exactly what you wanted. Now, at this time, this is when Monique and Chuck, like he's up against the wall and she's in front of him. He's terrified at what's going on. And we have Craig Craig. Greg, sorry y'all. Greg got Christopher in like a 360, no, a full Nelson actually. And he's trying to walk him out, him and Todd. Y'all, this is when shit was good. I'm telling you this shit was good. All right, let's finish it out and then I'm gonna tell y'all I will do the next episode, which is the continuation of this one, and that's when Candy and the girls get into it or whatever. I'll do that when, or it was kind of the aftermath, it spilled over. But I'll do that one depending upon how much, how many views this one get, if you guys are interested or not. Because this is a really, really, really old episode, but this was my shit, y'all. This was my favorite episode, honestly. Y'all tell me, do y'all remember this episode? Did y'all really enjoy this episode? Y'all can go back and watch it on Hulu. This episode is kind of everything. All right, let's finish it out, though. We got like 3 minutes left. Y'all, Kenya says Apollo is a crazy man. Like, he is fighting Brandon. She's like, I don't know why he's attacking Brandon like he's in his jail cell fighting for his virginity. And then we have Phaedra like, oh my God, Apollo is, he is definitely an aggressive man, but normally he can keep it in check. I have no idea why he's really going after Brandon like this. See, and this is what I mean. They have him at the door with security and everything, and Phaedra's trying to tell him, Apollo, stop. Apollo, calm down. Apollo, stop. And you know what he tells her? Stop talking to me. And she says, okay, okay, okay. Like, why didn't we see any of this before, you guys? I didn't dislike Phaedra, but I just think we were not on that wavelength because at the time, you guys, I never said anything about, like, I never noticed anything that looked a little weird to me with them. I guess I don't think I really noticed how aggressive he really was with her at the time. And I watched plenty of reviewers or whatever. Even back then, I watched plenty of reviewers, and I cannot recall any of the reviewers I watched being like, damn, he's super aggressive with her. Like, something could be a little off with this situation where she's very passive and, she stops talking when I don't know. I just don't like the look of it, you guys. So then we have Kenya looking for Brandon, and she's like, where's Brandon? Where's Brandon? And Nene is like, why'd you get out your goddamn seat? And she's like, Kenya. And Kenya's gone looking for Brandon, and she is running after Kenya. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? And then she gets up on Kenya, and she's like, you shouldn't have got out your goddamn seat. And she's like, listen, I didn't do nothing. He charged at him first. And I'm sorry, did Christopher not get out of his seat first? Like, all of that was his fault. So I was so pissed off back then at Nene trying to turn this around on Kenya. It was just unbelievable. I get the fact that she was walking towards her, but no, this is the bitch that said, oh, he can stand up for this. Then Kenya can stand up for this too. So Nene was so wrong. Y'all, so while Nene is going off on Kenya, she's like, listen, no man is going to put his hand on me. He's a bitch. And she's like, I'm not about to sit here and take this. I'm looking for Brandon. And Nene's like, you're not going anywhere. So most of the people are still in the main room. Brandon's in there and he's like, what was that about? And the girl, what's her name? Natalie was like, your friend lied on my husband. That's what that was about. At the same time, Apollo is standing at the door with Phaedra in security, and he's like, that motherfucker hit me in my lip or whatever. And she's like, you don't need to be acting like this. You have 2 sons. What are you doing? And he's just yelling at her. Y'all, so everything has calmed down. Apollo, his shirt is all snatched or whatever, because Kenya ain't no punk. She had his shit. She had his shirt, and it's all torn up or whatever, so he just takes his shirt off. Now, the whole time, they're all in the same room. He comes back in the door. He's looking at Brandon, who is kind of arguing with the girl Natalie, because Natalie is talking shit about Kenya. And he's like, that's not what I'm talking about. Like, he's yelling at her, Brandon. And he's like, I'm talking about what I'm upset about. And that's not it, So he's arguing with her, but not really. And then, what's her name? Phaedra is telling Apollo, we got to go. Listen, we finna leave. We finna go. He's taking off the mics. He's taking off everything. He sees Brandon and he just makes a beeline for Brandon. And she's like, Apollo, no! And that is where this episode ends. You guys, again, let me know if you want me to do the next episode, because that's where we get into the ladies. This is not the end of this episode. It's to be continued pretty much. And we know that the some more shit goes down on the next one. But again, I don't know if you guys have any interest whatsoever in this super old stuff. But again, my favorite. So if you guys want me to do the next one, let me know. I'll do the next one. I'll do it soon, for real. Like, I'll do it tomorrow. Next day. It just depends on how much what you guys think, what you guys want. All right. I will see you guys in the next video. If you are still here, you are the real MVP. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. If you have not already, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that you can know when I put up the next episode of anything. All right, you guys. I will see you guys in the next video. Smooches.